Welcome to the Fix My Insurance Agency podcast. Each podcast will share the conversations, best practices, experiences, and influences that have generated over $1 billion in insurance premium. So sit back and let us help you fix your insurance agency. Hey everybody, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the Inspire Nation Fix My Insurance Agency podcast. My name is Dr. Billy Williams, President of Inspire Nation and the Senior Instructor at the Fix My Insurance Agency workshops. I am so excited today to have Ryan Hanley. Now let me tell you my personal story with Ryan before we get too deep into this. I'm an investor. I have no interest in trying to be an influencer, a spotlighter, a stage guy. In fact, I think I'm a horrible presenter because when I step on stage, I piss so many people off because I tell them, look, you guys are making these stupid mistakes and you're never going to be a multi-billion-dollar business if you keep doing this. Well, Ryan brought me into Elevate 2018, I think, or 2017, whatever it was. And he put me on the main stage. You know, I warned him, Ryan, are you sure you want me on the main stage? Because I'm going to piss a lot of people off. Are you sure? He was like, nope, we want you on the main stage. So he put me on the main stage in front of 900 plus agencies. And from there, my reputation grew, my influence grew, everything grew. So Ryan, personally, I want to thank you for taking me out of just the investor side of what I do and put me more into the spotlight of a mentoring part of what I do. And this is a conversation you and I had offline, so I want to bring this up and then let you talk. I said, Ryan, now that you're starting your own agency, starting your own thing, you're going to become more of a mentor than a consultant. Because a consultant works with people who do what run an agency every day. But a mentor actually sits there on the ground and does it. We just do it at a different level. So give me your thoughts on that, Ryan, the difference between a mentor versus a consultant.
All right, before I answer that, I have to address a few of the things that you just said in your introduction there.
Okay.
So first, how our relationship actually started for everyone listening at home is Billy sent me a LinkedIn message. And I completely blew his LinkedIn message off for like 6 months. I don't know why. I read it and I was like, I don't know this guy. And I just completely blew it off. It was a poor move on my part, which I have apologized.
You get 100 of those a day. Come on. How would you know?
So then our mutual friend, Jason Cash, reaches out to me and goes, why haven't you connected with Billy Williams yet? And I go, I don't know, Billy. And he goes, he sent you a message, you blew him off. So I went back through my LinkedIn message. I'm like, sure enough, there it was. So then I reached out, and and just so everyone listening know, and hopefully if anyone does know me, they know that, I'm honest about these things. Within 2 minutes of our phone conversation, I said to Billy, I want you speaking at Elevate. Within 5 minutes of our phone conversation, I said, and you're going to be the Tuesday morning keynote kickoff on the main stage, because for as much as you want to say you're a horrible presenter, you are the best, if not your top 3 in the entire insurance industry. And I think put against basically any presenter, the way that you deliver information is unique, it's specific, it challenges the audience. And of the few presentations that I was actually able to sit in for during Elevate, just because I had so much administrative stuff going on between the presentations, I made sure that your opening keynote was one of them. And I was taking notes watching you, because you're the best, man. You're the best. It is a Billy Williams world, and we are all just living it. So,
thank you.
So I just wanted to correct a record there on that intro, though. I do appreciate your humility.
So let's talk about this mentoring versus consulting thing, because now you're transitioning into a whole new world, and I love it. It's a long time coming.
So I have wanted to open my own agency for a long time. I think like the Stephen Pressfield resistance, call it, whatever you want to call it. I was just straight scared, nervous, had a million excuses why I didn't. Last year, I was very close to opening my own insurance agency, and Unfortunately, I had a lot of why I left the insurance industry had absolutely nothing to do with the insurance industry. It had to do with some things that I had going on in my personal life, in particular, the health of some of my extended family. And I needed to be home. I couldn't be on airplanes. I had to be home. I needed a steady life. And I took my best shot at what that would be. And when that opportunity didn't work out, it was clear to me that what the universe was saying was, you need to, one, reinvest yourself in this industry that has given you more than you could have ever wished for. Coming from where I came from to be where I am today, I could have never imagined. And that is in thanks 100% to the amazing people that operate in this industry, this ecosystem. Right. And I can speak to the level of support and selflessness of those in our circle of all people that you know, that we know, who have given their time and resources and attention and advice and literally opened up the backside of their agencies to me so that I could skip ahead in the line in building my own agency, Rogue Risk. And it has been humbling that they would be willing to do that, and just a clear indicator of what this space is. In deciding that I was finally going to take this leap, being an educator, much like yourself, a teacher, someone who just enjoys watching, as much as it is part of how you make your income, it is also a joy to see others grow. It's part of the fuel of whatever that is inside me. And I think part of the reason why my own career has been so meandering is that I never had personal goals. I only ever followed whoever I felt needed the most help next. That was really, and that's, I think, why for so long I felt like I didn't have a clear path. Like, I talked to Cass, and Cass was like, yeah, my goal is to get my life in a place where I can go build churches in Cuba. That's what I want to do. That's my life goal. And I look at him and I'm envious because I don't have a thing like that. My thing has always just been, okay, how do I get you there? All right. Hey, Bill, you need something? How do I get you there? Like I saw my audience.
So you're a facilitator.
Yeah. So what's been interesting is when I finally kind of committed myself to Rogue Risk, it's like I started waking up with a smile on my face. I started walking around the house with a clear head. It was like all these little voices went away, because it was like I finally felt like this is the thing that I was meant to do. But not just build an agency. I wanted to give people an opportunity to be part of that journey, not in so much as what I learned, the obstacles that I come up against, the people that I talk to, the resources that I use, the conversations I have with carriers, the things that I try that blow up, the things that I try that win, or whatever. Like, I wanted people to have a space to be able to talk about that. And that's why I created the Inside, which is a paid membership community, a mentorship community, really, is probably what I'm going to change it to now that we've had our conversation. But those are the things. They're very complementary of each other. 90% of my attention goes towards building this agency because that's the future of my family. But that mentor, educator, teacher, facilitator side of my life, that's the Inside. And the two together, energized and free like I haven't in a very long time.
Good. And what's so important, Ryan, is that not only understand that it's going to be important to you, but it's going to be important to other people. So with Inspire Nation, people say, well, why do you call your mentoring company for insurance Inspire a Nation? Why isn't it Williams Insurance Consulting, or why isn't it whatever? And it's because this umbrella that I have under Inspire Nation, I have other businesses outside of insurance. I own the Miss Latina Texas pageant, and I've got technology companies, and I've got other things that I'm involved in. But all of it is meant to inspire people, not just motivate people. And that's where I think your strength is, Ryan, is that, and I'm hoping you'll really take this to heart as you do the Inside. Anyone can be motivated, because motivation is fleeting. It's an external thing. Inspiration comes from within. It's within your heart. It's when you plant a seed that grows into something completely different. And so my goal and your goal and Jason's goal and everyone else that we deal with, our goal is not to potentially just give you a little motivation. It's to plant a seed within you that will change the way you look at life. You know what I'm saying? And so when you have this inside, you're going to take people on a journey that they probably feel like they're going through by themselves. You know, by the time they come to me, I mean, hell, I've built $1 billion business. So by the time they come to me, I'm the mega church. You know what I mean? And I, as much as I try to make them feel personal and really put a lot of effort, and my assistants are calling and we're following up, in their mind, I'm still a mega church, where you're the startup church. You know what I mean? You're the
100%.
You know, he understands because he's the one that has to decide what agency management system to use. Whereas I can tell you how all of them work. You're going to say, I had to figure out what payroll, you know, I was going to set up, where we've got 20 different payroll systems. So both of us are so needed in this industry. All of us, you know, you and I were talking before the call, and I said, my dad, who's the smartest person I ever met in my life, used to say, the reason why there's a church on every corner is because on every corner, somebody needs a different church. Well, we need the Church of Ryan Hanley. And there are a lot of people that need the Church of Ryan Hanley so that you can walk them through this transition from not just talking about what happens in the insurance industry, but actually living it as a mentor every single day. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it completely does, and I appreciate that in many ways. There's a woman who I've come to know. Her name is Tamsin Webster. She has this saying. And this goes to your motivation, inspiration thing. Her goal is to create the conditions for change. You cannot force someone to change or take action. All you can do is create the conditions in which they can choose to make that change for themselves. I felt like the inside is really the name is what I'm trying to, it's this inside of yourself is where all of this stuff happens. Inside of your agency is where all this stuff happens. And I wanted people to be able to see that, like, I'm going to make mistakes and talk about them. And you'll get to see that and be part of it, because that's real life, right? Like, too often all we hear is all the best case scenarios, all the things that work, the 5 ways that you should do this. And not that those things are bad or that we shouldn't analyze them, but I think there is something very important. There's a very important part of our industry that is only discussed over beers late at night, where we talk about the little things that no one really wants to talk about. And it's not that I'm saying that like to be provocative. I'm saying, like, there are issues that all of us have to deal with every day that oftentimes don't get addressed. And I wanted to give people a space where they could come in and feel like I'm surrounded by other people who are willing to have these conversations as well, and share and grow together and talk about the things that are happening. And I'm going to be going through it, and it will be fresh. You know, it'll be literally, I'll have just made this decision. Like, I posted a video last Friday, was how to have your first, how to handle your first carrier appointment meeting. And that's because I literally 2 hours before I made that video had my very first carrier appointment meeting. And I talked about, here's the questions that I was happy I asked. You know, kind of post-game analysis. I wish that I had drilled in a little more on this thing. And I was very honest, or at least tried to be as honest as I could. And like, here's some of the spaces where I didn't handle that meeting properly. I didn't talk through these issues. And I even said at the end, though, I thought they were a very good, the carrier was Attune Insurance, which is sub-producer relationship. And I said, even though I think I like a lot of what they're doing, I'm still very on the fence as to whether or not I will choose to do business with them. And I tried to show people, like, here's what I did, here's what I didn't do. What would you have done differently? What parts of this don't make sense? You know, and just get the conversation going. These are meant to be conversation starters so that we all can raise each other up. And then, you know, that's really the crux of what this is. I mean, the truth is, like, up until this, I've been doing rogue risk until the 5 minutes before this call, when we had our little pregame powwow. Like, I've been doing rogue risk stuff since 5 a.m. I mean, that an hour to get my kids off to school and everything. But, like, you know, that's what I had been doing since 5 a.m. this morning, was rogue risk. And I know that's what it's going to take to get the agency off the ground. I'll take an hour to put together kind of what my things are for Tuesday, because I post 2 videos a week. But that's what it is. It's a community of people trying to grow together, and I'm sharing everything that I've learned, all the people I know, the tools I know, and the decisions that I'm actually making inside this agency as I grow it.
I love it. I love it. So 2 things there that I want to key on. Number 1 is the 5 a.m. That's something I had to learn when I became a business owner. Workers work 9 to 5. True business owners work 5 to 9.
Yeah.
You know, we're up at 5 in the morning and we may not go to bed till 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I mean, that's just the way it is. The other thing is, you brought up about the conversations. As you go through this journey, there are going to be 3 conversations that you always have. What you plan to say, what you actually say, and what you wish you had said. The more conditioned, the more experience you have, the closer together what you plan to say and what you actually say, the closer they come together. I love the fact that you're taking all of that and you're putting it together. That's awesome. Tell me about the inside. If I wanted to join, tell me what that journey looks like right now.
Yeah. So the inside, you go to ryanhanley.com/insider, or just go to ryanhanley.com. You'll see right up on top, there's a button.
I'm actually going to pull that up right now for the people that are watching on the video part of it. Yep. I'm going to go to it right now. So it's ryanhanley.com. I guess I must have been there before, since it.
I like that it auto populates. I like that. I'm doing something right.
Okay.
So right up on top there, you can see there's a button for the inside right in the main menu. That will give you like a landing page that will talk about what the community actually is. So really what you're going to get when you come in is you sign up, 2-week free trial. The inside is not my legacy for getting rich. That's rogue risk. What I want is for you to have skin in the game. So you pay a monthly fee. I give you 2 weeks free. Cancel anytime. That doesn't matter to me. If this is adding value to your life, I think you'll stay, and that, I feel very confident in that. So there's no gimmicks or games. You sign up. We do a one-on-one call. You schedule a one-on-one call. And the purpose of that is I want to know who you are. I want to know what's going on inside your head. I want to know why you decided to sign up, because you wouldn't sign up for an email list unless there was a reason behind it, right, let alone a paid community. So for me to take a half hour of my time with you, you committed to me, that's me showing my commitment to you. So we're gonna spend a half hour together. We're gonna talk through what's going on in your business, in your agency, in your life, that you felt this was something that you needed to do. After that, you get access to a private Facebook group and access to 2 every week. I do a video on Tuesday and a video on Friday that comes out. You just get an email that says, hey, there's a new video for members. You go, you watch the video, you can comment on it. And then the Facebook group is where a lot of the daily action happens. So I'm posting resources like today. I use a lot of templating for my story scripts, my LinkedIn posts, like it's kind of burned in up here. But what I've been sharing with people, because for me, consistent is the wrong word. Consistent branding in social is important. Not necessarily clicks back to your website and stuff, but for me, what I've found is a couple times a week, real value adds in social, especially like LinkedIn and Facebook for me specifically, have yielded tremendous results in terms of being able to have more fruitful conversations with carriers faster, more fruitful conversations with vendors faster, because they already know who I am and where I stand on things. So they've self-selected. If they take the meeting, then I know that they're okay with the way that I operate, which is fast, which is digital first, which is willing to make mistakes and try. And if you need to be, if you've read my stuff or been in my ecosystem, then you're at least at face value okay with some of that stuff, and we're not starting cold. So what I'm trying to do is give those agents, you can apply that same kind of stuff to your clients, and I will with Rogue Risk. So I have these templates that I've used for a while that are now kind of burned into the way I write, but I'm starting to share them, talk through how I use them. So I'm always sharing resources in. Once a month, we're going to have, maybe once every other month. This one really depends on how it works, but we'll have maybe a guest live video. So like I'd have someone like you and Billy to talk to the members about what you have going on, what you offer to them, some of your insights or something. And that's really what it's about. So it's this weekly documentation, a one-on-one call so I know where you're at, and then really my daily thoughts, my daily insights in, hey, I just wrote a post. This is the template that I use, the framework that I use to create that post. You know, print this out and pin it up on your wall, because, you know, you do this a dozen, 2 dozen times, it'll start to come naturally to you, and people will start to react more positively to your content. So it's just little stuff like that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I think why I'm so drawn to it is I'm 17 years into this now. You know, I started Inspire Nation roughly 17 years ago, and we didn't have Facebook, LinkedIn, and all that stuff when I started all this. So I did that, what you're saying, writing everything down. And now we've got a video library that's got over 1,000+ pages in it and all this other stuff. But it really is, I think about it, it's like I did that journey 17 years ago, but I didn't have all the latest, greatest, you know, I didn't have a podcast format and a video format and all this. And I love that. You know, I love the fact that you are doing that, because even now when people join my membership and we go here, click here, do this, do that, and we walk them through, there's still a lot of times that I'll sit down with my assistant and go, how do we make this even better? How do we make this clearer? How do we really get them to buy in to the activity? I love the fact that you're doing it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I told you before, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on and really help promote this was because I don't have competitors. I have allies, and I have people who just don't want to play. But I don't have competitors because, like I said, like my dad said, the reason why there's a church on every corner is because on every corner, somebody needs a different church. So I'm excited to have you part of this industry.
You know, and the truth is, like, there's so much space here. And I wouldn't consider myself, I mean, God, the idea that you and I were competitors is crazy to me. I mean, you know, not that I know that's not what you're saying, just the whole concept of it. Right. I mean, one, we approach things similarly in that I believe that we both honestly care for the people that we serve. Yes. And in that way, we are very similar. And in almost every other way, we're very different, right? Like, just the way we approach things, you're so systematic, and I was busting your chops before about how you have like 10,000 acronyms, and I don't even have one acronym. And like I was listening to you do a thing with Cass, and you're like the 3I, 3C, and I'm like had to pull over, and I'm taking notes on my iPhones. I'm like, this is brilliant. Like, how the hell does he remember all this stuff? And you know, in mine, I'm definitely a little more, like, for me, this format works better because I am a little more shoot for the hip. Obviously, I plan things out. I have a notebook. I take tons of notes. I use to-do lists. There's a method to my madness, but it's just different. It's a different methodology, and documenting via video, like an hour or two after the thing happened, that works really well because I can be purposeful and intentional, but at the same time, fluid, which fits my personality, that the fluidity of kind of how my thought comes out, that stream of consciousness. So they're very complementary, you know. And you put someone like Cass in here, and you put you know, there's all the different thought leaders. And I think what I've loved over the last, so I probably got into the teaching insurance agents anything game maybe about a decade ago. I've been in insurance for 14 years now. And I probably started doing my first presentations of 9, maybe 10 years ago. So a while. Just in that time. So I haven't been doing it for 17 years, but certainly in the last, say, 9 years. What really makes me happy for the industry, and just, I guess, as a human, is that I've seen so many walls come down over that time period, where it's not the Billy Williams empire and then the Ryan Hanley empire over here. And we don't talk to each other, and we don't mix, because if one person leaves your group and joins mine, or vice versa, you know, it's just, I feel like, I'm sure that still exists to a certain extent, But so much of that mentality has been torn down by people being on each other's podcasts and coming to each other's events and helping each other and making all these, back channel connections. And, you need to, back channel, email connect, not nefarious. Hey, you got to talk to this guy and you'd love this person. Like the number of emails that I exchange that are just, here's someone that I love, here's another person I love that don't know each other, let's mash them together. Like, I just feel like over the last 9 years, that has, those barriers have come down, and that is such a good thing for our space.
Do you know why? No, here's my opinion of why they came down.
Yeah.
Because most of the thought leaders now are still insurance agents. Jason runs an agency. I own an investment company that runs agencies. You're starting an agency. Most of the thought leaders are not consultants. They are agents who mentor other agents. Because of that, our income is not threatened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't make the majority of my income because I've got a podcast. I make the majority of my income because I run insurance agencies. Podcasting is what I do to help share in that system, in that ecosystem of what we do. I think it's going to continue to go that way because I'm watching a lot of consultants now say, I think I'm going to open an insurance agency. I think I'm going to quit talking about this and actually go do this. Yeah. And I love that for our industry. And our industry needs that. We need our leaders to be technicians and creators, not just creators or technicians.
I would be lying if there wasn't some percentage of my desire to own my own agency is that I feel like I started to feel like a fraud telling agents how to run their business when I wasn't doing it. When I was coming off of the Murray Group, I had been doing it for 8 years. Yeah. So the things that I was teaching were things that I had literally just done for an agency. And then some of my early days at Agency Nation, I spent so much time connecting with agency owners that I just felt like my role was to say, hey, here's Billy, man. Like you gotta get to know this guy. Here's Cass. Here's Mike Crowley.
Right.
Here's all these different guys. Here's Nick. Here's Nick Ayers. Here's all these different people. Like what they're doing. But the further I got away from that, I started to say, like, for me to stand in front of a group of agents and pretend like I know 100% what's happening in their agency today starts to feel a little dishonest. Now, yeah, I am married to a woman who owns an agency. I work in her agency. I go to, you know what I mean? Like I have been spending time in her agency the entire time. I've been helping them and I'm happy to do it. But so I always kind of have my hand in it, but I started to feel a little too removed. And that's a part of it. That's not the only reason why I'm starting to use it. But there is that piece of me that says, I never want to stand in front of agents and just bloviate at them. You know what I mean? Like I have too much respect for what they do and for the industry itself to be that guy. And I never wanted to be that. And I started to be removed. And there was a small part of it is that. The other part of it is, obviously, I believe in independent insurance agencies. I believe in the system. And I believe that there is a version of an independent agency that fits who I am and the way that I want to serve customers, and I can build that. And that's why I want to do it. That's what I want to execute.
Okay. So let's get on a different subject. Let's put some real meat to this conversation.
Yes. Yeah. Technology.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna give you my side of it, and then of course I want to hear your side of it. I am irritated by the fact that agents believe that somehow technology is new to the insurance industry. In my opinion, technology is just a transition from what we did before. So people talk about Facebook and they say, oh my God, on Facebook, you know what? I can identify who actually is interested in my product or service. And well, hell, we could do that with Yellow Pages. They would go in and they'd flip through Yellow Pages and they'd go insurance agent in Dallas, Texas. So, and then they pick up the phone and they call me. I know who was interested because they picked up the phone and called me. So Facebook has taken that to a whole new level. But I think a lot of insurance people outside of the industry, well, I can't say outside. They're in the industry, but they're not agents. They are painting technology like it's this brand new, world.
Those people don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. I'm gonna take case in point.
Go ahead.
Lemonade, the anti-agent insurtech bad guy of our time, is now actively recruiting independent insurance agents to sell their product.
Yes.
There it is. Technology this is all it is. It's digitizing the soul of your business. It only amplifies who you already are.
Perfect.
That's all it is. Now, don't get me wrong, done right, it can amplify significantly. It can provide a slicker customer experience. It can add tremendous value to both your people. Like I just wrote something, or I'm writing an article for Paradiso's magazine, and in it I wrote your team, your clients' revenue, not the other way around. That's not exactly, but like technology should first support your team and make their lives better. Then it should support your clients and make their lives better and their experience better. And then at the end of that equation, it should improve your revenue. Now, if you're doing the first two, it's really hard to not have the third be positive. But that's what technology does. If the soul of your business is crap, technology is only going to amplify the crap. That's all that's going to happen. So technology isn't solving the problems. It's allowing you to scale the aspects of your business where you provide tremendous value naturally.
Right.
And that's the way that I look at it. I look at a tool like Slack, right? Slack's a great tool. Slack's a tremendous tool. But if you're addicted to communication or you're a really poor communicator, Slack is not going to help the communication in your agency.
True.
Now, if you are a good communicator, you set expectations well, and you can properly handle that tool, it is amazing. When I was at Agency Nation, the marketing team, the 19 people that sat on the sales and marketing team, I had gotten it down to where we legitimately did not send each other emails, which allowed us to operate as a remote team on varying schedules. I mean, I literally had people working almost every hour of the day just based on their own schedules, because I don't necessarily believe in hammering people to a certain time frame. And that tool was tremendous, but it took us a while to get there, and we had a very healthy communication culture. And that's why Slack was able to work for us. But I've worked in other companies where Slack was a nightmare. It took half your day away. So I think that's a really good tool for that.
Good. Yeah. And so this technology craze that everybody's on, I just interviewed Kiki Johnson over at Insurance Agent Apps, and she was talking about Insurance Agent Apps, how it was a container that you could put all these different carriers and information. And I was like, that's what I use it for. Now we got off on, my church opened up an app 2 or 3 years ago. Donations went up, tithing went up, everything went up, because now my church was in my pocket versus me having to go and do all this other stuff. And even now, if I miss a sermon, I can always go into the app, my church app, and watch what I made up. That's the convenience that we want in the insurance industry. And I try to tell agents, don't get technology for the sake of getting technology. Get technology to enhance your culture, or to start to plant a seed of a different culture that you want in your agency.
I actually really agree with that second part that you just said too, just everything on the first part. But the second part I think is a really good point. Technology can act as a catalyst or a change point, or if you're big on Google Analytics, an annotation for a moment of change, right? So let's say you want to change your communication culture in your agency. You could use a tool like Slack as a way to start to facilitate that change. It gives you a strong pivot moment. We are going to begin transitioning out of constant email and all the hard email. Is just it's the only piece of technology that every agent knows how to use, but it also is difficult to have meaningful conversations there, where a tool like Slack allows you to really change that. It can act as a way to begin changing your culture if implemented right, if you properly set expectations, if you got to get it's like anything else, right? You have to get buy-in from your people. You have to indoctrinate to them. You have to train them. Like, you can't just drop Slack on them and go, here, use it. And if you don't, you're in trouble. Like, that's not going to work. So, but I agree with that second point. I do think it can help facilitate that change if done properly.
Okay, so let's talk about this. I've heard you say this a couple of times in our conversation. This is where, again, where we're a little different. I don't try to change a person's mindset. I change their activities. And then I know that the mindset will come with the change in activities. And this is from my military. I'm retired Army.
Yep.
So in 21 years, I never tried to get a soldier to buy in to the military way of life. We just made you live the military way of life, and eventually your mindset would go to that, or you get out. Pure and simple. And so the way we teach in our mentoring is, agents, stop trying to get buy-in from your people. Force them to do the activity, hold them accountable for the activity, and then one of two things is going to happen. The mindset will start to match the habits, which are the activity, or the mindsets will run from it. In life, we're very simple. We're either attracted to something or we're repelled by something. And so you will find when we force people to send an endorsement confirmation, make sure you annotate this note, use this agency management system, make sure you do this, send a decline coverage form. When we force them to do that, the people that are going to be attracted to the culture we're trying to set will love it. Yeah. The people that are repelled by the culture we're trying to set will hate it. Either way, I'm fine, because the ones that want to stay should stay, and the ones that want to go should go. So I'm a big believer, and I try to tell agents, don't try to get buy-in from your people. Get them to perform the activity, and eventually the buy-in will come or it will go. What are your thoughts on that?
I love having conversations with you. So a couple things. First thing, I don't know if you knew this, but I was a pen stroke away from being a Navy, being in the nuclear program as an engineer for the Navy. I literally had the recruiter at my table, and I was a pen stroke away. I didn't do it that day, and the next day my acceptance letter from the University of Rochester came in to play baseball for them. I was literally a pen stroke from being in the military service, working on nuclear subs. I don't think I ever told you that. And there are days when I actually wish that that's the path that I chose. Okay, so what you just said, I have a couple thoughts on that. Okay. I disagree slightly on buy-in, but not at its core. I think that I do think there is a level of cultural massaging, if done right, can help facilitate or lubricate the activities, right? With the least amount of bitching. I do think that that's possible. If you can bring people together, you can lubricate those activities. You can get people thinking that the activities are in their best interest, or that they chose to do those activities, even though at the end of the day, I completely and wholeheartedly agree with you. They have to do the activities, right? Like, you can't change what you don't track. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Like here's the hard part. It's the repercussions of them not adhering to the activities that keeps people from actually implementing your advice, which is, if they don't follow this, they have to leave. And that's the part that hangs everyone up. Johnny's been here for 25 years. Sally's cousin's nephew plays in my little league team. I can't ask her to go. Tom works 2 jobs. I can't ask him to leave, even though what he's doing here is destroying our culture or wreaking havoc on our productivity or what have you. These are really difficult things to do. I think it's why at a certain point in my time at Agency Nation, I started to transition over to doing a ton of research. And sorry to my Agency Nation team, I tested a lot of leadership tactics on them. And then every subsequent team probably had it a little nicer. Because you ultimately, if you are unwilling to say, sorry, but you have to go, then it doesn't make sense to force them to do the activities in the first place. And I think that's the hard part, is people hear what you say and they go, you know what, Billy, I completely agree with you. But I don't want to put this in place because I know Tina's not going to do it, and I'm never going to fire Tina no matter what she does. Right. So Why would I waste my time making people do that? Because all she's going to do is complain. And that's the really hard part. I don't know that I have a great answer for that. I just know that to be truth.
Well, here's what we do, and I'm sure you've heard me talk about this before. That's why we put enhanced pay into all of our partner agencies. And enhanced pay says a portion of your pay is variable. We think of it like a professional athlete. You got a $10 million contract, and you're guaranteed $6 million. But that other $4 million is based on activities. It's based on performance. We do that with the same pay within all of our agencies. So maybe you're making $75,000 a year, but only $60,000 of that is guaranteed. So for these activities, once I start to hold those activities accountable, then you're going to get your other money. So it's not a bonus. That's the worst thing you can call it, because a bonus is like, you know what, I wouldn't have gotten it anyway. So what's the big deal? I'm not losing anything. This is your paycheck is $75,000. But in order to keep that $75,000, you have to perform these activities. And when we spot check them, if they're not performed, we can remove a portion of that variable pay. See, so we give them the $75,000 up front, but maybe only $15,000 will stick, or $15,000 of it's variable if you don't do this. Now I don't have to fire people, but Judy has to explain to her husband, or Tom has to explain to his wife, why his paycheck is $15,000 lighter, because he won't send a damn email.
Yeah.
You know, or he won't join a Slack channel, or he won't update a note. So you're giving up this. So that is our way of massaging that all or nothing method of, if you don't do it, I'm going to fire you. Well, look, if you don't do it, you're not going to make the money that you have guaranteed to you if you just do everything we ask you to do. So that worked well for us.
I love that. I love that.
Well, when you come to the Fix My Insurance Agency workshop,
yes,
which
the one in February, I think I'm going to be there. I wanted to tell you that.
Good. I'm excited about it. So let me get in here, because I know we're about 45 minutes in. So let me ask you this.
Yep.
What book are you currently reading?
That's a good question. So I actually have. So I'm kind of a crazy reader. I am in a book club with my best friend. He is not in the insurance industry. He's the best man at my wedding, but we're in this book club. He lives in Buffalo. Go Bills, even though we lost. And our January 2020 book is Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. I did not realize that this was like a college textbook when we decided to read this book. So I have a lot of work ahead of me. But since we're on books, I just want to give everyone a couple recommendations, because these things have been very powerful for me. The one that's kind of leadership related that I'd recommend is by Ben Horowitz. What you do is who you are. If you haven't read this, Bill, you will love this. This dude is very action oriented, very real world, and even though he comes from tech, so much of what he talks about in this from a leadership perspective is applicable to any business, not just, insurance included. This is wonderful. Nice, quick read. I haven't tagged it yet, but that's a good one. Okay. If you're looking for a book on just mindset, and I've talked a lot about this in my social stuff recently, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius is, and you can see just how much I tagged this book. This is incredible. I open this like, this is like a, and I don't mean this to blaspheme. This is like a second Bible to me. Like, there's the Bible, which is amazing. And, I'm starting to read, I've never read the whole thing. I'm starting to read passages more from that. But, this is like the same for me, because they were actually written at the exact same time. So this was written, around 300 AD at the same time that the Bible was being written, put into print form, we can say, not what Jesus was saying. And then the other one I'd recommend, which is actually where I got the recommendation for this book, was Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. And those would be my book recommendations. This book is tremendous. And I'll tell you why I like it, because today's life is so frantic. It can be frantic. Let's put it that way, right? Mm-hmm. The opportunity for a frantic life is very possible. You have work to do. You have a webinar you got to be on. Kids got to be at school. All of a sudden, the kid's sick. my car doesn't start, I'm starting a business, I'm trying to get a carrier appointment, and now they're kind of blowing me off. I mean, it's like all of a sudden your mind is going nuts. And this book basically mashes Christianity, Judaism, Eastern religion, basically all the Judeo-Christian, Islam, that kind of stuff, Middle Eastern, all the stuff that originated there, with Stoicism, with some of the early pre-Socratic stuff, with Eastern religion, because all of them at their core address some aspect of this idea of stillness, of that doesn't mean not moving, and it doesn't mean silence. It means stillness of the mind, focused in the moment, being present. There's no such thing as the past or the future. You are in this moment, and be in this moment and allow yourself to be there. It's something I have to tell myself often. My wife makes fun of me because she says I sound like foo-fooey, but whenever I start to feel myself getting out over my skis, I'll tell myself there is no past or future. There's only right now. Be here now. Execute this moment. And I'll say that to myself, and it's like a little mantra. And it just helps me recalibrate that I am here right now with Billy Williams on a webinar. I'm focused on you and what you're saying, and I want to deliver as much value to you as someone that I respect, appreciate, and want to have a valuable conversation with, as well as the people listening. And I shouldn't be thinking about the 100 things going on over here, or the fact that at any given moment there's an alarm guy that's going to ring my doorbell, and that's causing me anxiety. And like this book, I read this right after I got terminated as the CEO of Metabolic, and it kept me from going to a much darker place than I went in that time. And I reread this. I constantly just open up and just will read a couple pages from it and grab little things. So I recommend that.
You know what, Ron? This is. Let me paint a picture of what you just said and put it into kind of our world. So Walt Goshard and I are buddies. We're on LinkedIn, and Walt wrote this article that said, "I don't answer the phone." Right? I don't answer the phone. It's not what I do. Either schedule an appointment with me, text me and let me call you back, do whatever, but I'm not going to answer the phone. And so I seconded his article, and I put my own thing in there saying, I'm the exact same way. You can call me, and only my special friends, like you have a special ring on my phone. So I know that that's Ryan's ring, right? Jason has a special ring on my phone. But if it's a normal ring, I don't even notice the phone. You know what I mean? Because my voicemail says, text me, and at my earliest opportunity, I will call you back and give you my undivided attention.
Yep.
Because I don't want 37 different people on my mind at the time that I'm talking to you, whether I'm talking to a customer, a partner, a mentoring person, whoever. And so what you just said, if we just put it in real world terms for today, because it sounds very, what'd you say, foo-fooey? I don't know what that is.
Foo-fooey, yeah, that's my wife's term now.
Right, that's your wife's term. But if you just put it in real world terms, there's a lot of agents that can't get anything done because so much of their life is leaking, okay? Leaking. So we call it ventilation. In the military, we call it ventilation, which is let the things that should go out, and trap the things that should be there. When you live in the moment, you trap the moment. But a lot of us, emails is the enemy. I don't care what anybody says. Email is the enemy because you have all these random thoughts and random things pulling you in different ways. That's why I love Slack. I can put it in a channel. I only have to go to that channel and worry about that topic. You know what I mean? That conversation. So I love what you're saying, and I think agents need to not look at it like it's mysticism, but it's more effective and efficient for how you should run your life. Be in the moment. Don't talk to me as a customer and then tell me, hold on, let me take this call real quick. Hold on, because you're not showing me that undivided attention. I'm just another thing bleeding in or out of your day.
Yeah, I'm the farthest thing from a monk that you could possibly find. So all these are tools to operate a business and to effectively add value to my family first, the people, my friends, the people that I interact with, and any clients that I have third. This is a tool that I use. I learned it from you know, philosophy and religion and psychology, yes, but I pass everything through this filter because you know, I'm not a philosopher. I operate in a world, in the real world, in this world here, and in order for me to be the most effective version of myself, which is what I care to be, this simple methodology has allowed me to do that, which is focus on the thing. If you're going to write an email, focus on that email, execute that email, and move on to the next thing. Where we get in trouble is when we're writing the email, but we're thinking about the fact that we have to go to the post office box. And it's simple things, but it's and it takes training. It takes a lot of training. And I'm nowhere near perfect, but I will say that the practice of trying to be in the moment that I'm in, even if it's a seemingly minute task, has allowed me to be a better husband, a better father, a better mentor, a better salesperson, a better teacher, a better everything. You know, and then if I get really messed up and it's not working, then I just start drinking. You know?
Well, I don't drink, but I got you. All right. So a couple of questions. I'm going to let you go. What was the last mobile app you downloaded?
That's a good one. I think it was Guidebook, because I downloaded it for IAOA, which is in a couple weeks.
Okay.
They're using the Guidebook app, and before that it was Orange Theory, because I'm start going to Orange Theory. So
okay, what's like Orange Theory? What's Orange Theory?
It's like a workout class thing.
Gotcha. Okay. So name an app, service, or tool that you cannot live without.
I'm gonna have to go back to my phone. An app, service, or tool. I don't know that I would be able to survive without. I'm gonna take like texting out of it. So probably like the iTunes podcast app. I absolutely love the iTunes podcast app. I don't use a lot of apps. If I'm traveling, I love the Delta app. That's why I fly Delta. I think their app is so good. Yeah, mostly I use social media. I try to stay away from this thing, but mostly social media, texting, and podcasts. If this could only do one thing, if this only had podcasts on it, that would be enough for me. I just love listening to podcasts. I listen to a very eclectic, swath of podcasts, and I love them. So that's a big part of how I take in content.
Good. Well, for me, it's real simple for me. Number one for me is my LinkedIn app. I make more money on LinkedIn than any other tool, so I love LinkedIn
right now.
Do I know?
A good post on LinkedIn is bananas. They go crazy.
I sent something out this Saturday, on a Saturday morning. I just got up and said something, and I had 1,400 views by that afternoon. I had, whatever we had out there. But for me, it's about the DMing. You and I, we talk more through direct message on LinkedIn than we do face-to-face. And most of my big accounts, big customers, big whatever, that's how I deal with them. So agents that are not using LinkedIn with their own customers, with their own referral partners, they're missing out on a powerful tool.
I agree.
So we're going to get that.
LinkedIn pages should be a place that agents, like building out your agency page or a community page or something, like that should be a big, if you're going to spend time on social, that's a place to spend time. LinkedIn, specifically the pages, are doing really, really well and organic, and you can advertise off them a little bit if you want. There's a lot of value there right now.
Yep. There really is. All right. So we're going to finish it. We've had a great conversation. Tell us more about, or refresh us again about the program that you have going on and where we can find out more information if we want to become a part of it.
The program that I'm running is called The Inside. It's not about being inclusive or exclusive. It's about just looking inside under the hood of an agency, tracking my journey as a construct for these communications. You can go to ryanhanley.com/insider, or just go into ryanhanley.com. You'll see the button right up on top, The Inside. You get 2 weeks for free. Come in, check it out, be part of the community, communicate. And if you like it, stick around. But it is a way for me to scale my mentorship of insurance professionals as they grow their career. And I'll be honest with you, we have some people in there that have been in the industry for 30 years. So you don't just have to be new or try to be starting a scratch agency to find value. I have some agents in there that, like, they're teaching me stuff, while I'm showing them some of the stuff I got, and that's really what it's about. So go to ryanhanley.com. You can check all that out.
Excellent, excellent. And for you other folks, check out the Fix My Insurance Agency Workshop. Ryan, I think you're going to be at our February Fix My Insurance Agency Workshop. And guys, this is all implementation. That's where we're a little different in the workshops. This is not a conference. This is a sit down, break open your computer, have your staff person there. We're going to show you how to set up the email templates, how to set up your technology, how to make sure your agency management system. This is all hands-on. And I'm really excited, Ryan, that you decided to come to our February workshop as well and be one of our VIP guests.
I'm excited to be there. I've actually been telling my wife to go for since the first one that you did. Cass came back and he was raving about it. He's like, dude, if you go to one thing this year, you got to go to Billy's thing. And I said to him, I wasn't in the agency at that point. So I said to my wife, I was like, you need to go to this. She won't get on an airplane to save her life, but I will be there because I'll come back and I'll probably tell her everything. But yeah, no, I can't wait, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, good. I appreciate it. And for those of you folks that don't want to come to the Fix My Insurance Agency, but maybe you want to at least figure out some of the stuff that we're doing, this year I opened up a freemium membership, okay, where it is free. You don't have access to all of our stuff, obviously, but you will get our podcast, you'll get our iTunes and Spotify, and you get our newsletter, get invited to our web thing, our webinars. And what's really nice, and I got this from you, Ryan, I'm allowing people to submit questions, and if I like their questions, I'm going to have them on our podcast and let me solve their problem for their agency right then and there on the webcast or on the webinar, so that we can distribute that to other folks. So
I love that. That's awesome.
Just something from us. Ryan,
chop that up, turn it into micro content, post it all over the place.
You and Gary V. Look at you. You and Gary V. I got you. Okay. All right, Ryan, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it. Really excited about what you're doing, excited about everything you're bringing back to the insurance industry, and excited about you taking that journey to become an insurance agent, and mentor, not just an insurance consultant. So thank you for that as well. Okay?
Thank you.
My pleasure. Talk to you later, Ryan. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.